what is justice? That is the question of this week's Round Robin. Much like our discussion on rights and privileges, I will first state that justice is a human invention and would not exist without minds to conceive of, want, and apply it. And nothing demonstrates this more than how differently it is treated around the world, and even from person to person. With the Brock Turner case being so prevalent in the media these days, it's difficult to not use rape as an example. Many feel his 6-month parole after 3 sentence wasn't enough, and yet, in the Middle East, it'd be the raped woman who'd be punished with a whipping and prison time, perhaps even death by stoning. And I'm sure both sides find the other's concept of justice insane, that the violation and required punishment belong on the other side, and both of a different kind and to a different degree. So hopefully we can agree that justice is not in the least bit objective or absolute. But then, what is it, and what purpose does it serve? Like my examples in the rights and privileges topic, what justice is on paper versus how it is applied are not the same thing, and as is the case far too often, neither is its intended effect. So what is justice? In theory, it's twofold: retribution and deterrence. When what has been deemed an offense is done, the wronged party is granted the right to see the scales balanced. The offending party must make reparations. That is the retribution. Deterrence is punishment in addition to the balancing of the scales, intended to make behaviors seem more attractive than offense, both to the criminal and to those considering taking similar action themselves. If the worst punishment for committing a crime and being caught was to give back what was taken, then attempting the crime can only result in either a win or a reset, not a penalty, leaving no incentive to not make the attempt. This is the basic theory. However, there are problems with its application. For example, not every offense is a theft. That which was taken cannot always be objectively measured. To use the previous example, how does one, quote-unquote, pay back a rape or some other form of physical assault? Eye for an eye? Allow the rape party to have their way with their rapist or the assaulted party with their attacker? Money? How much and why that amount? The payback for murder seems easy. Death. But again, the moral question is whether the same crime should be done to the one convicted of it. Do we, quote-unquote, lower ourselves to their level? But then, if the sentence is life without parole, what have we accomplished? The felon will not be able to repeat their crime, but any possible meaningful contribution to the world has been eliminated. Perhaps death is a mercy, like euthanasia. Perhaps the sentence is too harsh. Or perhaps it's just right. One could also make the same argument about a rapist with a lifetime sex offender flag on their record, which could impede finding employment, which could potentially lead to more crime. Perhaps such a flag should not be permanent, expiring after a certain number of years of good behavior, much like parole for a jail sentence. Or perhaps it should remain forever. How long and in what manner someone should pay for a crime is not a point on which everybody can agree. How long should someone pay for a mistake they will never again repeat? How much longer should they pay if they do repeat it? How much of a risk should we take on their future good behavior? Do the punishments work as a deterrent for others who might commit similar crimes? The evidence would suggest not, but then how could anyone tell, since those who might have committed the crimes are not calling attention to their restraint and the reason for it? And how do we get the population at large to agree with what constitutes a crime and the severity of the punishment for it? Justice. Sometimes I begin to question whether such a thing exists at all, though I know we cannot live without trying to have it.
Hey, this is a nice computer you got over here. Be a shame you didn't subscribe to Bionic Dance. I'd hate for something bad to happen to it.